Hello and welcome to Juicy Scoop. Well, we have an awesome show because I've got more with Brandy and Julie. You guys absolutely loved the Juicy Scoop history show that we did. We actually went long, so I saved it for today. We do Tiger Woods, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Letterman juice that you probably don't know about, David Letterman. Oh, Lisa Bonet. I mean, so much that we got into. Oh, the Super Bowl debacle from years ago. Anyway, it was more of that. I also want to thank everyone who watched my show, who posted about it, that watched the stand-up special. I last night, if you watched my Instagram story, I read your reviews, and it was amazing. And I think you have to watch it on your computer or something to leave a review. But you can leave a review on Amazon Prime Video Direct. And I read them, and it's awesome, and I really appreciate it. I really appreciate everybody that's been posting and telling their friends about it, and you guys telling me that your husbands loved it. And some of the reviews that I really liked was whether you're super liberal or super conservative, you can love this show. It's non-political. Whether you're gay, straight, non-binary, everyone can relate to Heather's material. Those are the kind of things that, as a stand-up comedian who someone who just wants to entertain, are so appreciated that you guys took the time to watch it, tell your friends, and then write a review. So thank you, thank you. I loved that. Okay, let me just break it to you guys. You know now the biggest news on earth that's happened. No, it's not the coronavirus. No, it's not the VP for Biden. No, it is Chrissy Teigen is pregnant with her third baby. And I think everybody just is happy for them, but also exhausted, because get ready for the next at least like 10 months, because then we're going to see like the initial baby photos, and we're going to have to see the older kids holding the baby. And just know that anytime, and this is not Chrissy's fault, why not? Anytime she posts anything about it, maybe she's going to have morning sickness, just know that E! News is going to pick it up, that People Magazine is going to write an article about her Instagram post. They're short on news. It's going to be a long road. We're going to see all the ugliness of the pregnancy, because that's the new thing. Show your ugliness, show that your tits are swollen, show that your foot's swollen. We're going to see it. We're going to have to be subjected to it. Now, some of you might be like, God, Heather, what the fuck? Why are you being such a bitter Betty? Because I just thought about this in the pool the other day as I was swimming in my pool, because it was 100 and, not kidding, 115 in Woodland Hills over the weekend. And, I didn't have TikTok, Instagram. I didn't have social media. We didn't have gender reveal parties when I was pregnant. And I fucking missed out on so much extra attention that I could have milked out during that time. And guess what? I'm freaking jealous about it. This is how I told Peter I was pregnant. Okay. First time, I think I just told him with Drake, and then and then he goes, well, you better go to the doctor because you're wrong about a lot of things. Okay. That wasn't some big thing. I didn't do a TikTok video. I didn't have people crying. I didn't put a little shirt in a thing. The next time I tried to be cute, and I peed on a stick, and I saw that it was positive. And I said, oh my gosh, Peter, come here. I think there's something wrong with the stove. And then I just put it near the stove. And again, he was like, oh, okay, well, just, better go to the doctor, because sometimes you're wrong about things. Okay. Then I told my parents by saying, we were making an offer on a house, and I said, well, maybe they'll want to give it to me if they know that I'm having if there's actually 5 of us and not just 4 of us. And my mom goes, what? And I'm like, I'm pregnant. And she's like, oh, that's great. We didn't have a barbecue. We didn't have balloons. And then I just went to the doctor, and they said, we see a penis. And I got on the phone and I called everybody, and that was it. That was it. So, you better believe that I am jealous and I'm annoyed by how much people feature their pregnancy announcements, their gender reveal announcements. It's part of life. I like watching it, but I'm a bitter Betty jealous person. So there you go. Being completely honest, you guys. The Vanderpump Kids, they had a fun weekend. They went on Randall's jet. They all got together. I don't know if that's a sign of things to come, but they went on a houseboat in Havasu. Stassi was there. Jax was there. looked like a real fun time. Um, okay, I also wanted to say, I watched, Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. We're still in Rome. What I did find interesting is at the end, Denise was about to fucking leave, okay? She's just like, you know what, I thought about it. This has been the worst trip of my life. But, so she sits down and she goes, hey, you guys, thanks for the Rome trip. It's been horrible. You've all been awful, and I'm out of here. And she goes to leave. Garcelle is just spent. She like goes outside. She has like an emotional breakdown, starts to cry. Says she misses her boys. And the producer comes up to Denise and he's like, it's a huge mistake to leave. Just go back in there. She goes back to the pizza party. She comes in and she's like, all right, you guys, I guess I'll stay a little longer. And then they start talking about when they had the craziest sex. Where was it? What was the craziest thing? And Kyle says, okay, it was at a black tie dinner for 10. At a table. No, she goes, I was at a table. So I guess she must have given Mauricio a blowjob at a black tie dinner for 10. I just would like to know more about that. That was pretty juicy. And then Denise said it was in a church parking lot when she was 16 with her boyfriend in a van. And then Lisa Rinna said she was 16 in the back of some station wagon and she was having sex with her boyfriend while her best friend was having sex with her boyfriend right next to her. So, and then Lisa Rinna goes, now that's the kind of Denise I like. Just being honest. And it's like, well, the kids aren't there, but still, my God, this is on a TV show. So I wouldn't, first of all, I don't have any good stories. So I would have been like, I probably would have had to make something up, quite honestly. Because it's like, no, I've never done it like at a party or something. It just, whatever. It was fun. Okay, Real Housewives of New York, they're in Cancun, and holy shit, Dorinda is still angry as can be, okay? And they go out to have breakfast, and Leah's there doing some stuff on her laptop, and then Sonia comes out, and she's like, I got to get my invites out for my Sonia by Sonia dress collection at Century 21. And then Dorinda shows up, she goes, really? Everyone's working here? You can't put away the phones and the computer. You know what? You're all, maybe I have a party to invite people to. Sonia's like, well, I do. If I don't get these invites out, I can't. She's like, really? You know what? Yeah, I got a party too. Great. Real classy girls. Really? And everyone's like, Jesus. So she leaves. And Sonia's like, well, I still really have to get these invites out. So I'll just go to another room and work on it. And she's like, I just don't think why we have to have our phones out, why everyone has to be working. I don't want to hear about your clothing line. I don't want to hear about your cabaret. And it's just so obvious that, like, Dorinda is, like, very bitter that her Dorinda aerobics has not taken off. And, so what does she do? She's, like, tries to teach these two yoga instructor Dorinda aerobics and get that going. It's, like, it's not really happening. I don't really think people are dying to go, well, now you can't do things in person anyway. But, unfortunately, I think she's a little jealous of the other girls' endeavors. So then they go and they have a beautiful day and they go to this cave thing and they get some blessing and then they're eating and Hannah, Dorinda's daughter, calls and they're at the table and she picks up the phone and Hannah's like, Mom, I got this great thing at Hunter Library. And she's like, that's great, Hannah Banana. I'm so excited for you. I was talking and everyone at the table is like, well, this is a little hypocritical. Why isn't she getting up from the table to have her conversation? She all yelled at us in the morning that a couple people were, returning an email at 9 a.m. at the breakfast table. And they're like, Dorinda, do you think you could take your call? She's like, oh, really? Really? It's my daughter, okay? It's my daughter. It's Hannah Banana, okay? It's Hannah Banana. That's what her name is in the phone. And you think I'm not going to answer a call from my daughter? You know what? You guys all do your thing. Mm-hmm. And then Ramona just starts crying. She starts going, why do you do this? Why do you do this, Dorinda? Why are you so, you were trying to help you. I don't know why you're so angry. I don't get it. It's really disturbing. I just don't get it. And then Dorinda's like, really? You're crying, Ramona. Oh, boo-hoo, Ramona. Boo. I mean, it is so unbelievable, the anger that's going on between what is happening. A lot of people thought Ramona was being dramatic. I don't know. It was a pretty great episode. They're still in Mexico. Leah gets to go out and they meet two guys. Leah makes out with one of them, but she doesn't sleep with him. Leah also reveals that she saw some like swarmy, or what do you call those people that are like, I don't know, like a blessing, like an energized lady, textured energy. And she told her that her ex-boyfriend had possessed her vagina and hadn't left her vagina even though they weren't together, and there was like bad mojo in Leah's vagina. And so this particular Puerto Rican woman that makes house calls in New York shoved the pink crystal up her vagina to ward the evil energy out of it. So I guess those crystal eggs that Gwyneth Paltrow were selling for $200 or whatever wasn't such a bad idea, because this woman sold one to Leah, who's, a pretty intelligent person with her own business. But hey, when your vagina is possessed by an old boyfriend, what else are you supposed to do? If you want a new dick to enter in there, you got to evict. Sometimes it takes 4 months to evict people, longer now with Corona. But if you can just put a crystal up there and get the bad dick energy out, why wouldn't you do it? Especially when it's a Puerto Rican woman that comes to your house. So, they're just chock full of just the most entertaining thing. So there's more there. Very excited for that. Potomac is just, these girls are just getting at it. It keeps coming down to, did Monique possibly have an inappropriate relationship with her personal trainer? Giselle keeps bringing that up every second that she can, Giselle Bryant. And so this is gonna get pretty juicy. Also, Elise, who did not get invited to Cancun, did not get to go on the reunion. She posted over the weekend screen grabbed her text conversation with Ramona. And Ramona reaches out to Elise and says, do you have time today at 2, 3, or 4 to talk? And Elise writes back and says, no, I really don't think I do. I'm really done with it. You've really hurt me. And then Ramona goes, well, you've hurt me. And she screen grabbed my interview with her, where the headline is, did Ramona poop her pants with Elise? So then Elise writes back, I was very classy when asked that question. And I just happen to just be regular on Instagram. I follow Elise. I'm like, holy shit, no pun intended. So then I wrote under it, oh my God, let me just say, it was Leah's sister who brought up, does Ramona poop in her pants? The Juicy Scoopers wanted that question answered. I asked Elise, and I don't think she confirmed or denied it. She said, it's something I am not aware of, or something like that. I can't remember, but she never confirmed or denied it. But talk about being sucked into this crazy world. I was a little bit like, when I saw my face, I was like, oh God, Ramona's going to be mad at me that I asked that question. Oh, I got a lot of press too over the weekend because of my interview over the week with Amir. So if you missed that one, go back and listen to that one. That was a real juicy one too. So now, you guys, I am very excited to even have more super fun, juicy history time with the hilarious Brandy and Julie. This Tiger Woods story, again, I remember where I was. I was working on Chelsea Lately. This was one of the greatest stories that ever happened.
Ever happened in my life.
Ever happened in my Tiger Woods, famed golfer, beloved, great story, biracial. His mom was Asian, his dad Black. The dad was teaching him to golf at like 2. He was on the Tonight Show at like 3 years old with the dad hitting, like doing a hole-in-one. He marries a beautiful wife. They have 2 adorable children. Everybody's watching him every day on the Golf Channel. I mean, just beloved.
My dad, who I don't talk to, when I tell you that he idolizes this man, like the level of his obsession with Tiger Woods, my dad's a golfer, and he loves golf and he watches golf. It's just torture, all of it, his whole existence. And
my family is golfers, so it's so boring.
He was, I
can't believe it. And like when I go golf with my son, I'm always like, oh, we've got a Drake Tobias here. The younger brother seems to be coming up on it, but this has been a sibling rivalry that's been going on since they lived in their humble beginnings, just south of the boulevard in Woodland Hills. And that was not good. This is going to be a hard thing to recover. Like, and then but the boys are like, do it. Okay, so
It's
go on.
so good.
Go
And
back
of course, golf is the thing that came back first in COVID.
Right.
And they're all thrilled there's no people there because, of course, they do terrible when there's huge crowds.
Yeah.
So my dad was obsessed with him. So when this happened, I was like, oh my God, I couldn't have been happier. Although men didn't care. Men were like, that's great. You pulled someone's tampon out in front of a Denny's and threw it out the window and then had sex with
Wait,
her.
what was that part of it?
I'm sorry. That's the best part.
Let me just fill people in.
Okay.
So the way the story broke is, what was her name? Elin.
Elin Nordegren.
She was Norwegian or something.
Swedish.
She apparently found out he'd been cheating and took a 9-iron, which again, everyone's like, oh my God, the specific thing, to his car as he was driving away or something. I was trying to bash him with it or bash the car with it. So there was a record of that. The police were called. That he found it. And so everyone's like, oh my God, the greatest cheating story ever. The golfer's wife finds out and starts bashing his car with the 9-iron. Oh my God. So turns out he had an affair with Rachel Uchitel. Now, Rachel Uchitel was famous because she was this famous face that was like on the cover of the New York Post right after 9/11. Very tragic, but she was engaged or newly married to like a Wall Street guy that had, she didn't know where he was. And of course, he had died in the towers. And she was very pretty and her tears were crying. And it was just like the face of 9/11. She went on.
And white privilege.
And she was supposed to have a life of marrying a Wall Street guy, living in the Hamptons, having 3 kids. But this really threw her for a loop. And she went on to work like the VIP world, nightclubs. And she was like maybe 30 at the time, like not really that young to be like still doing this like job. That's where she met him. And she was having like a real affair with him. Like they were a couple, they did all this stuff. Then when the story broke is when they knew about this girl. But once that story broke, all these people started coming out.
Right.
All these people. And it was all these VIP waitresses. But then there was one that worked at a Waffle House. And you're like, which one doesn't look like the others? Like they literally listed them all, and then one's just like it was just like.
And then there's me.
Yeah,
I work at the IHOP. I fucked him too.
And that's the one where he pulled the tampon out and threw it out the window.
So
and had
here,
sex with her in the
this.
SUV.
I can't remember this. Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, I think that makes sense. Yeah, that I don't know, but like this was the Rachel Uchitel. It was very beautiful. Mm-hmm. And then all these girls were like models and, VIP hostesses. And the VIP hostess thing was so funny because people were like, my God, what is this? Like, why is he so into like a wait staff? But I think it was obviously he was a sex addict and he'd go. And he was another one of those people that once you saw his hat off, you're like, fuck. Like, a lot of these girls probably insisted that he keep that hat on while they fucked him. But, yes. So
he literally pulled her tampon out and had
Wait,
sex.
what's that story?
Okay,
Tell.
so I thought it was an IHOP or a Denny's,
I thought
but
it was IHOP
okay.
too.
So
Maybe it was IHOP.
he takes her out to his Escalade, and she pulled her tampon out. She's like, I'm up here. Pulled her tampon out, threw it out the window, and had sex with her in the Escalade, and then sent her on back into work. And I'm pretty sure the tip was something around $30. I remember a $30 figure in there.
But then didn't a bunch of them get? I think the whole thing is that they were all like, wait a minute, like Rachel, I think got some money to like not talk. And then other people, the rest of them are like, well, I'd like some too. Like,
yeah,
I'm out of tampon,
So, and the person that lives by the Waffle House is like, ew, I remember that tampon there.
It hit someone in the head. Like, what the?
Well, he texted that chick Rachel, who later went on to Celebrity Rehab. I love how Dr. Drew's here with us in
Oh
spirit.
my God, always. I loved that Celebrity Rehab.
Oh, it's so good. So she later went on that. I remember she had this makeup brush on that show, and I was like, I'm getting that. She did her full makeup, and I watched her do her whole makeup. I was like, I'm gonna get that brush.
I loved her looks too, and she had very full lips. I think they were enhanced. I think she was one of the first people to get like lip injections, and I freaking loved them. I was like, I'm behind this.
Yeah, she was really. So he texted her while I think Elin was like giving birth, right? There was a thing where he was at the hospital with his second baby, and he was texting her, and it was like, oh God, I thought the tampon was the worst part of it. You're texting while she's giving birth? Ugh. And this, by the way, I became obsessed with Sweden. So because my dad loved him, I was there the whole time. She was an au pair, and she was there.
She was an au pair for some other golfer.
Right.
That was like his mentor. And that guy introduced him. So then that guy was like, I fucking hate you, Tiger. How could you do this to my former nanny? Like, everybody was so mad at Tiger.
Meanwhile, I was like this, what idiot hires that girl as the She's the most beautiful girl I've ever seen. She had those aviator sunglasses. I literally made Julie get them. I'm obsessed with those sunglasses. I will look at the photo. Please, everyone Google
maybe it was the wife that was like, if you don't get that fucking nanny married off tomorrow, I'm going to fucking kill you. So he was like, oh, hey.
That? What wife allows that?
She was so beautiful to me. She's the prettiest girl to me. And we went to Sweden, and it was like she was everywhere. I was like, this is heaven here.
And then they get divorced. And I believe, can you look this up, Kelly? She went on to marry another billionaire delight.
Because they live in that Florida.
I mean, you go from billionaire to billionaire to billionaire. It's like, it's just like Jackie O, you know? Oh, babe.
Do a close up.
Babe.
I thought Kelly was over there looking up the aviators. So I didn't know. I didn't ever see never seen what he looked like. But he was like her neighbor, I think, in that 1%er, like Howard Stern.
I love that.
Gated community. Oh, he's a football player?
Oh, I know what. I'm going to jump. Wait, no, I won't jump. So we'll keep going in order because I don't want to forget anything. Okay, let's get on to this. This was a fun cheating rumor. At the height of the Twilight series, Robert Pattinson was dating then heterosexual Kristen Stewart. Okay.
And Kristen Stewart was also dating then heterosexual Robert Pattinson.
Yeah.
Just my opinion. It's just my opinion.
I also would like to interject then heterosexual. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah.
Well, I'm just saying.
Yeah, no, I know.
To the public,
Yes.
Right.
she would.
Yeah.
That would be an adjective we would use to describe her
Right.
sexual.
And I did that too. I was the only one. We had this discussion for years about Kristen Stewart.
Yes.
And I was like, she's not gay. She's with men. Like, ugh. And then
During this episode.
And then,
I knew she was gay when she was trapped in the panic room with Jodie Foster.
Thank you.
That's what you said.
Thank you.
And I am.
I'm very good gaydar with children.
I
They don't
too.
know it. Their parents don't know it. But I'm like,
I knew it
see
too.
you in 9 years. I see you, and good for
That's
you.
exactly what I say.
That is what you said.
Flight plan, panic plan. I'm like, she was gay then.
Right, and that's what she would say. And I was like, she's with men. As gay people generally feel, because whatever, I'm just like,
That
if
you have
with
a gift.
No.
You have the gift
No,
of
that they have
detecting, or no?
No, because
Oh,
if
she's the
if
worst.
you're with men, then you're with men. So why would I what I see is what. This used to be what I thought.
Okay.
We got in a fight where we didn't speak for 2 days hiking Runyon because she refused to believe that Angelina Jolie is legitimately bisexual. We didn't speak for 2 days because I was like, until you figure this out for yourself, I am not going to talk to you. And she had to come around because I'm like, Angelina Jolie's clearly, truly bisexual. She was with men. She's with men.
She's
and
another
women.
one. I have a theory about certain women that I think have a lot of sex in their life early on, that then when they get to a certain age and they're moms, like I bet she hasn't fucked anyone in years. I think she does not give a shit, Angelina, right now. I'm not saying she won't be with someone later, but I think right now, she was so sick of Brad Pitt. I think she's so focused on just like, let me make sure my kids are okay. And I'm like, I'm exhausted. I don't even need it. And so I think, of course she is.
Yeah. So Julie's had to accept.
I had to come around just because it's loaded. There's baggage, whatever. And you just get to a thing where whatever. But then yes, I ultimately came around that she's bisexual because ultimately what you end up feeling.
So who
is
was this
whatever.
guy that she cheated with, Kelly?
He was the director of the movie, and he's a fucking creep. Look at how he's hugging her from behind. She's like, get.
I remember it was all over a little Mini Cooper. That's what I was disturbed by. The car was a Mini Cooper.
And she sucked his dick in that car.
Then this is my favorite, is that Donald Trump got involved. And that was in 2012. So everyone relax. This is pre-presidency. But he wrote, Robert
this is the
Pattinson
scoop.
should not take back Kristen Stewart. She cheated on him like a dog, and will do it again. Just watch. He can do much better.
Oh my God.
Well, I mean, look, he knows.
Please.
He knows.
I love that you
He
found
called
that.
it.
Hilarious.
But they never did get back together. So she must have read his tweet
Yeah.
and said, thank you, Donald. Thank you for telling me that. This was more about then we have, of course, have the Brad and Angie breakup and what all went down there. I think that was just a classic of like, she just got sick. She was just tired of him, and it was brewing for years.
Are you like Team Aniston, or do you not even do either team, or you're just?
I mean, of course I was Team Aniston because they were married, and I know someone who was a facialist to Courtney Cox, who when the shit went down, getting the facial, I said, "What do you think of that whole thing?" And she goes, "I've got one word to describe Angelina Jolie: predator."
Ooh, I just got excited.
I know.
Yeah.
Julie's like, I gotta get.
So
I find her
because I always remember when they started to do the movie Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Jennifer Aniston, Lisa's story was that she went up to Angelina Jolie and was like, "Oh my God, this movie's going to be huge. My husband's so excited to work with you." Like, she was confident, not jealous, confident in their marriage, like gorgeous in her own right, did not ever think like this would happen.
That was a
And
mistake.
so-
That was a miscalculation.
No one should ever let anyone around Angelina
No.
Jolie. I would not let anyone around her. If I was in a relationship,
you
I
saw
would
her
say,
nip coming through the chain link fence.
Oh, we will.
I will not be
No
around her.
Well,
no
in
one
the
will
car,
be around
we're gonna
her.
look it up. Believe me.
If you're in are you? I don't care. We know she's a predator. We know that she is a predator. She is not predator number one. She will take. She's a praying mantis.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
fucked up. I always just block it out that he cheated with her. I just love Angelina Jolie so much that
Yeah.
I forget. Yeah,
I
that's fucked up.
love her looks. I mean, I can't stop looking at her. I know she hasn't had like a strong movie in a long time, but like whenever just with that face, I love that they chose her to be like the spokesmodel for St. John's, which is kind of like an old lady suit.
That was weird.
I was like, really? With like the tats and stuff and like the nip through the chain link? Now we're just wearing a St. John knit. And I was always just like, oh, she's literally at like the San Diego Zoo in like a camel, like knee-length skirt and like a black turtleneck and like a flat Chanel.
or a mule.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I was always just, and the hair slicked, like dressed so classy. Like when she became a mom, it was like classy.
She's a shapeshifter.
Mom.
She's a shapeshifter.
Yeah.
She's a shapeshifter. She's an alien, and she's a sexual alien, and she's a shapeshifter. She's gonna come out of her skin. That's what you think. That's what she wants you to think. She's gonna be in her camo Chanel beige thing, and then all of a sudden she's gonna zip. She's
And
like,
I
I'm wearing
mean,
blood,
and
and I'm gonna
she-
eat your face.
I wonder if she's ever annoyed that everyone copied her lips, because there's a time in
Right.
history, people. I was thinking about this the other day. One of the reasons that the Osmond family made it is because they were born with huge, white, perfect chompers.
The
Back
chompers.
then, you couldn't buy chompers like that. And someone with a big, wide smile like Julia Roberts, you're like, she's a star. Now everybody, from Ramona Singer to whomever, can get a big, white smile. So you're like, oh, I guess we got to find something else that these people can do.
That's-
She was
yeah.
the first to have these lips.
Yeah,
These perfect,
naturally.
natural lips. And then everybody copied her and everybody got it. And I always just wonder, like, if I was to interview her, that would probably be one of my first questions.
She'd fuck you. She would fuck you. And you wouldn't know what happened. You wouldn't even know what happened.
You wouldn't even get a
wouldn't
question
get
out,
You
Heather.
wouldn't even get a question.
I have two
You'd
questions
walk
for you,
in,
Angelina.
she'd fuck you.
One, are you pissed that everybody copied your lips? Two, was it your idea to stick your nip through the chain link?
And then she goes zip. And then you'd be dead. You'd be dead. You'd be fucked.
Netflix is gonna wonder why Gia crashes the system tomorrow.
You and I
whenever this
watch
comes-
it 1.2 million
Well,
times.
everyone who's listening, and we know a million people listening to this, are gonna be like, "I'm fucking doing Gia right now.
Oh,
Where do I find it?"
Please. Groundbreaking. And also groundbreaking. And also, dare I, groundbreaking. At the time that she played a full lesbian, no one wanted to do that. I think
And
that's,
she was a brown-haired model.
and a brown-haired model. And
Just-
Gia was a brown-haired model.
Just one of my kind, walking the path for me to
Yeah,
succeed.
that's right.
I
See
want to
how
say
many-
that if it's only available on Amazon and you guys go and buy it on Amazon, you better fucking do Heather's comedy
Oh,
special
thank you.
too.
Good
Okay.
one. That's right.
Thank
Don't
you.
just pay it to
and Heather. Yeah,
And
you're
to
tell
Angelina,
everybody, because I'm a self-made woman, and I made that myself, and I need people to watch it. I do not have a billboard on Sunset. I am
Yet.
not on Netflix as a
Yet.
joke, Instagram, unfortunately. So people will have to know about it from you if they don't already know who I am. So
We're
thank
gonna know if you watch Gia. We're gonna see. We're gonna see if it's the
Yes.
popular ones on Amazon.
This was amazing. This is one of my favorite stories. This is David Letterman, who got caught cheating with his assistant, longtime assistant, for years. He and the mother of his child were together for 20 years when this went down. And
was his show still on?
Oh, yeah.
Or was it all? Oh, okay.
oh, it was on and a hit.
It was on and
Okay.
popping. Okay.
On and a hit. And he had his girlfriend who was just around forever. I'm sure she's a lovely woman, not a model. Okay. They had a baby together. They finally got married after being together 20 years. And I think the kid was like 5 when this went down. And this girl who was his longtime assistant had either a boyfriend or a live-in boyfriend. He found out that they had been fucking for years.
And is she way younger?
Pretty significantly. Yeah, I think
Okay.
at this time maybe he was like 55 and maybe she was like 35 or something. But and so that producer, I mean that boyfriend who was also a CBS News producer was so furious that he went to David Letterman's people and said, "Give my girlfriend $1 million or we're going to tell this story."
Hot.
And
I
so
love
then
that.
David
love that.
Letterman was like, "Well, I'm a victim of blackmail."
Oh,
And
that
it
old
all-
chestnut.
it
Go
all-
fuck yourself. Bill Cosby did that too. This isn't like extortion. Get out of here.
So it got exposed, and he went on his show, and Kelly and I just looked at it. We were shook. Okay, he comes out there and he goes, "So just going to tell you what's been going on in the news because there are people that is harassing me, my family, my staff. I've had sex with women who work for me. I have. My wife is very hurt by it. But when you're a victim of blackmail and these people are coming after you to destroy you, there's no way, but I have to tell, and the audience is like, like there's bouts of laughter and like
nervous laughter.
yeah,
oh God.
yeah. And he's like, so I've said apology to my wife. Show without a beat just continued on. And I don't know whatever happened with this girl. I don't know if she ever got any money. I don't know if she ever asked for a severance pay. I don't know what happened to her.
I despise when they won't just give the money.
Yeah.
I despise that.
And that you're a victim of something. I can't
Yeah.
stand David Letterman. And he probably kidnapped the boyfriend and shoved in that disgusting beard that he has right now.
Yeah.
I cannot stand David Letterman.
I know.
all.
I'm like, we're talking about
Ever.
I was saying to Kelly, you know what's so great about doing a show like this? I go, 5 years ago, I might have been like, I might one day get asked to be on David Letterman's show on Netflix as a guest. Now I know. I'm like, no, it's never going to happen. Who gives a shit?
No.
Who gives a shit?
Who gives a shit?
He will be lucky to come on this fucking show.
Yeah,
No one's even watching that shit.
Exactly. Nobody cares about David Letterman.
Yeah.
He looks disgusting now. His beard makes me sick. He's
So-
gross
Literally
and he's
more
not
people-
funny.
Listen to
this
this
was
and watch
also
that.
another crazy thing. When Drew Barrymore got on David Letterman's desk at 19 years old and lifted up her shirt with no bra and flashed him.
Look how good her side boob looks.
Yeah.
You
Again,
can tell.
everybody laughing. And he's like 50. Maybe he's not 50 there. Maybe he's like 45. But still.
She was the best though, man. So charming, so
Yeah,
cute.
yeah.
I mean, if that's what my boobs look like, I would have been doing it too.
Mine's down here, and then would have wrapped around and gone. And then
I know
come
she
back.
was just like a fun, wild
She
child.
was. She invented that.
I'll
And
tell
now
you.
they
I'll
copy
tell
it.
you another movie to get you fucking wet and horny. Poison.
Oh yeah, Poison Ivy?
Poison or Poison Ivy.
Poison Ivy.
With Drew Barrymore. Then they did a couple remakes with other people, but
You don't know? Her name's Ivy, and she's like evil.
She becomes friends with a girl in high school
Go on.
who is actually, I think the girl was who's the lesbian on the talk that's getting divorced for the second time?
Sarah
Oh my
Gilbert.
God, yeah.
She's Sarah Gilbert and she's so excited to have a friend, and that's Drew Barrymore, and their mom is former Charlie's Angel Ladd.
Cheryl Ladd?
Cheryl Ladd is the mom, and she has some weird illness, so she's beautiful, but she barely gets out of bed. Well, the
she
dad
can't care for Sarah.
She has chromobiology,
Yeah,
biology,
yeah.
COVID-19.
So, like how certain families will just take in some high school student, and I always thought that was like weird and like a liability. Anyway, she doesn't have she doesn't have a family, so they were like, Drew Barrymore can stay with us. And what's her name again? The one from
Sarah
You?
Gilbert.
Sarah Gilbert's like, okay, and they're having fun and they like it and everything. Well, then they have a big party that night, and Cheryl Ladd was going to try to get ready to go to the party, but She was too tired. She was too tired.
I wish I could be there for my child.
You mean a party downstairs?
Like a big party, and so of course the dad's like, God, haven't been laid in 6 months since Charlotte's been sick. Drew Barrymore comes down the stairs wearing the hot red dress of
the lipstick
of the ailing mother. Oh, and it is one of the fucking sexiest. Fucking 50-year-old dad eating her out on the kitchen counter. Holy shit! They start fucking.
This is not where I thought this was going to go at all.
All I remember is her lipstick from the whole movie.
Poor Gilbert. What is her name again?
Sarah Gilbert.
Poor Sarah Gilbert. She can't get it.
Like, Dad, I wanted to eat her out.
She probably did.
God!
P.S. Turns out, sweetie, she probably did.
I was like, oh, the dancing? Oh, I'm going to watch Gia. But God, she
my
wears
God.
the dress of the mother?
Yes!
Do you know this movie?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, my
Her
God.
name's Ivy. She's Poison Ivy.
She's Poison Ivy.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's so fucking good. Oh my God, I love it so
I love
much.
Drew
go
Barrymore
rewatch
is
it.
the best.
Oh my
She's
God.
the best.
She's great.
So
She's the best.
But now we know. Now that I understand that David Letterman was such a fucking creep-ots, I don't enjoy this as much.
Yeah, no.
She was like a flower child. Now her whole thing, like she's in her talk show. She's like, very sweet, motherly, and all that stuff.
Does she have a talk show?
Yes. This will be the third time I've done the impression of it, but I'm ready to do it
I need
for
it.
you guys.
I need
Okay.
it. I need it.
You guys, I'm so excited. My talk show that I've been working on for over a year. Who works on something that long? It's a TV show. We've had our ups and downs due to COVID, but it is coming. It is starting. We're going to do such fun stuff. We're going to explore Pinterest. We're going to explore decorating. I'm a freak about cookbooks. We're going to explore our favorite cookbooks. You're going to tell me your favorites. I'm going to tell you mine. And we're going to see who can do these recipes together. And we're going to talk about parenting in this crazy time of homeschooling. And it's just going to be a celebration.
Wow. And then it was like, guess what your first guest is? Strip time. And then you're I mean, that is a good impression.
Do you know what would be amazing? If Sarah Gilbert, who is no longer on the talk because she's going through her second divorce, is do you have some scoop on that?
I mean,
I just was to say if she went on her show and then got up and did that to Drew.
she should. That is what
that
she should
would be
do.
Pretty amazing.
Because on that,
and then said, "I'm still pissed about you wearing my mother's dress and fucking my dad
and letting my dad eat you out." We like don't let my dad eat you out. That's weird. We then went to find out though with this the three major copycats after that. Kathy Griffin, Tina Fey, and Ellen DeGeneres, who then went and stripped for David Letterman.
Really?
And then I was just like, well, they were just trying to be funny. And Julie's like, I don't care. I don't care. They copied it.
What did Kathy Griffin do?
Kathy Griffin came on with like a black dress and she was like doing whatever. And then she's like, okay, Dave. And then she was like, "Da-na-na-na-na-na," and it was like a bit. It was like
And
she's
she was,
trying
like,
to get
in a
the
bikini?
she tried
Well,
to
she
get
had
the
that
dress
like
off.
period of time where all like right before she turned 50, she like woke up and realized she had a good body.
Yeah,
And then was like wearing a bikini everywhere, and I was like, "Oh, you have a good body. That's great." And she's like, "I don't think she ever realized she did. She was always wearing again like awful clothes,
Right.
And then was like, "No, I'm actually like pretty petite and fit."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she
Yeah.
didn't take the whole dress off. It was sort of like the top. She had him help her with the dress, and it was like a whole thing.
And then who else did it?
Tina Fey did it. She removed
Oh.
her whole dress, and she was like, "I'm wearing Spanx."
Okay.
And then
I need somebody to show their real boobs, and none of them did, right?
no, and then Ellen DeGeneres was naked but blurred, so
Oh.
who knows what was going on there? And she's little and fit too, so it was like, but she wasn't. But it's just like that spawned all the
right.
copycatters.
So this is him giving his apology to Cheers, which I was going to say, I loved this movie. Have you seen this movie? Late Night. Mindy Kaling stars in it. It's actually Amazon Studios, and you can see it right now. But it was one of the best movies I've seen about like working on a late night TV show. So Emma Thompson is kind of like a David Letterman meets Ellen, kind of meets Chelsea in a way, that it was a late night show.
So
and
she's
she was, like,
abusive?
yeah. I mean, no, like her character is
Yeah.
like she's been doing the show for 20 years. She's just kind of a bitch, and she like doesn't know anybody's name or that their kid even is like going to college or anything. Like doesn't. And then Mindy Kaling gets hired as like they wanted someone diverse. So like it's amazing because she like wins out on getting the part from like some guy's brother. And he's like, God, why, like they're so clueless, like why that's anyway. So it's really juicy and I don't want to ruin it, but something happens with her character that I didn't realize was sort of had to do with Letterman.
Oh.
So like when you watch it, it's like almost like Mindy Kaling took all like these little things from like the history of late night and female hosts.
Did Mindy Kaling write this?
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
okay.
really,
so
really
it probably
good.
has a bunch of true.
Yes, it's
Okay.
like it's a really good. It's just a great movie. Anyway,
I love Emma Thompson.
Okay, so Kevin Hart, did you watch his documentary on Netflix?
No, is it?
No.
Should we?
No.
Okay.
It was just kind of like they were starting and just follow me, see how hard I work, see that I work out, see that I'm like with my kids. But then it also discovers when he cheated on his wife. And so this is his second wife, and she was pregnant. And the way
It's in the documentary?
yeah, and the way he presented it was all his buddies, like, so he has like all these people around him, right? But then he's got like the main best friends, and then he has like second tier best friends. And the main best friends felt in a tremendous amount of guilt because the night that he got caught cheating, he said, "Hey, let's get on the jet and go to Vegas." And the main best friends couldn't leave at 3:00 that day. They said, "I'm sorry, Kevin, we have family obligations." And Kevin's like, "Okay." This is the way I interpreted the thing. And then, so he went, some girl got to him because these guys weren't there to stop this stuff from happening. She lured him back to his hotel room. And
She lured him.
something happened.
Great. She was like,
And
here's some
Here's
treats.
the baby.
I got some treats. Come on. Just
No.
come a little farther.
No.
Just in here.
Okay.
Again,
I
I'm
mean-
never going to be in a Kevin Hart movie. Who cares? So then, anyway, so then he, and then the second tier friends, because the first tier couldn't make it, tier/employees, that guy filmed it
Why?
Why?
because he was a second tier friend. I don't know.
Ugh,
that
you can't
so
bring
then,
the second tier.
So then a lot of it was his betrayal. He felt so betrayed. This guy had worked with him for years, which is all horrible. But then a lot of it
That's
was
not
like,
cool.
and then the first tier friends were like, if I was only there, almost like when someone dies and you're like, if I had only, made sure
Yeah.
I drove them home. But this is, no one's dying, but still. And then, so then there, again, it was a blackmail situation. So the second tier friend was trying to blackmail him with the video. And then he was like, and he came out and was like, no, told the wife everything. And so we see it all in the documentary. So that part's kind of juicy, I have to say.
Yeah, I kind of want to watch
But
that.
a lot of people then were like, but still, and he did. He felt terrible. He cheated on his wife and everything. But it was I thought what was funny is that the best friends almost took responsibility. Like if I was there.
Yeah.
I've stopped shit like this happening for years. And the one time I'm off duty,
Yeah.
this stuff happens.
I
Like,
love his wife. I think she's so pretty. I love Kevin Hart. I mean, he recently literally drove his car off Mulholland,
Right. No.
with two people in it, and then went on home, and then came back, and I was like, something weird was going on there.
I don't know, but it was a weird thing. We've talked about it a lot because we know exactly where it was.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of near our house, and my husband's obsessed with like a car accident, what kind of car they drove, and like what was going on. And
Was it a Tesla?
No, I don't know. It was a Tesla, but
okay.
it was something like way too like a very powerful motor. Basically, to my husband, Kevin let this his wife's trainer's husband or fiance drive the car, and the girl was like, I think she might have been in the car too.
Yeah.
So everyone was hurt, but he was hurt the worst because I always feel like the passenger in the front is always hurt the worst, and the driver's not ever hurt as much. But anyway, and he was like, that's not something that you like. That's something you learn, like a car of that magnitude. You take lessons kind of, and you learn how to drive. You don't just hop in one day when someone's like, hey, want to take it for a spin? And it was late at night, and there was no alcohol or anything involved.
Well, it was just weird that he went home.
Right. I don't know. There was something weird in it, and
Yeah.
I think that it was just poor judgment. And I think also, now imagine you're working for a super powerful person, and the female personal trainer to his wife. So you guys now are become really close. You're best friends. You bring the fiance in. Now he's best friends with Kevin. Kevin's like, we should do something together. I'm just imagining. We should do something together. We should have a protein line. Let's have a protein powder line, something like that. We're having fun. We're bouncing ideas. We're having to want to go for a ride at midnight. Okay. Like a lot of people do bad things because it's like the king popular person, the person, let's go have this fun. You're not going to be the nerd that's like, I'm like, could I take the car around the track a few times before I go down Mulholland at midnight? And I just think it was that. I don't think there was like a fair or anything. I think it was just a bad night, a bad choice. They probably, I'm sure regretted driving the car. I think he probably pressured them into driving. Like, drive it, you got to drive it. Like being cool. Yeah. And like, who says no to Kevin Hart? And then, and now you're all like,
Well, I want to say I love Kevin Hart because when all the shit went down with the Oscars,
yes,
he said, keep it.
Yeah.
And I live for that. Like, whether he should have apologized and he did, or he needed a better apology, that's all beside the point. My thing is like the Oscars can fuck right off. Like beyond, it's the shittiest show on TV. I refuse to watch it. They're like, okay, well, you're fired or do this and then you can have the job back. He's like, no, keep it. And I think about it every day.
I think about what's great about that is that I think when you're growing up and you're being a star, you think that is the pinnacle, right? That to him, that was one of his like goals. One day I'll host the Oscars. Could it ever happen? And I think that was his goal from like 20 years ago. And then when it finally happened, he was thrilled. But then when all this shit happened and he really thought about it and people really sat him down and was like, it's rated horribly. You're putting yourself in jeopardy of pissing off people. If you don't go hard, they're going to say you're not funny. If you go hard, you may not work again. And everyone's going to, no matter what, say you did a shitty job.
It's a no-win situation.
So why, and now you have to beg for this back. Like, so I think it was almost like a blessing, like forget it. And I think people are realizing like, this job is the hardest job. It's not really worth it. It's putting yourself in jeopardy, which, but I think that's a thing a lot of people think of, like when people go, oh, you should do this or you should do that. And I'm like, yeah, 7 years ago, I would have been really excited for that. Now I'm like, that's a lot of work.
Yeah.
Like, you should do a prank show on the street. I'm like in 100 degrees, mic'd up, trying to act. No, like people don't realize like those are the jobs you do when you're young or you're trying, and it's hard. Like I'm like, or I can just go to my Calabasas office and talk to Brandy and Julie and like be at my home at like 4:00 in the afternoon in my pool. Like no, like the dream is done. I just shit on like 40 of the most A-list actors. It's not happening. I'm not going to win that Oscar. Right. I'm not going to be on the red carpet. Who gives a shit?
Or maybe it's the not giving a shit that will put you on the red carpet and will put you in the Oscars. You know what I mean? You never know. I mean, look at Ricky Gervais. Look at Ricky.
Well, that's
Gervais.
that's what I love about Ricky Gervais is because I've talked about him like so much in the last couple shows because in his speech at the Golden Globes, he's just like, I don't care.
Yeah, and he doesn't.
Y'all pedophiles. I don't give a shit.
He doesn't care. He has enough money. He has his own deal.
Yeah.
His shows are amazing. Have you watched his shows?
Yes.
Obsessed. And his whole ethic and it's goals. It's pinnacles.
Yeah.
He doesn't care. And that's why he can be so funny and just be like, fuck you guys.
But I like that about Kevin Hart too. Keep your fucking stupid job.
Great.
No one watches this.
I thought it was so funny in his stand-up special, Ricky Gervais, where he's like, a lot of people are like, I can't believe you're not having a child. You don't have a child. He goes, I'm not having a child because I'm fucking rich. It's like, my child will be a fucking heroin addict. It's 90% chance he will die at 20 of heroin.
Yep.
Because, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Like, he's going to be on jets. He's going to he's not going to have to work for anything. So because I'm so successful, I'm actually not going to have a child. Like the people that should have children are the ones that are going to have kids that need to like accomplish something.
And he
it
never
was kind
got
of
married.
A brilliant like analogy.
Yeah. And he didn't marry he's been with his partner for like 36 years. The same woman.
36.
I swear to God, it's something that long. Like they've been together for like since they're really young. And he's a vegan. I love him so much.
He's a vegan.
I love him so much.
Okay, Justin Timberlake and Britney. I mean, we just talked the breakup, everything about it. He looks this photo of him right here. I'm like, he literally looks like a hairy penis coming out.
Yes.
And he looks just the whole penis with a turtleneck. Just a penis.
It's
like,
a penis
not
and a
cute.
turtleneck.
This is the foreskin part.
Yeah.
Lenny Kravitz can get it in the back though, and so
Lenny
can
Kravitz.
Mila Jovovich.
Oh my God, Lenny Kravitz.
Brittany,
Look at him.
wow.
Take me to paradise. I belong to you. That was my wedding song. And you belong to me too. He is so fucking sexy as shit.
Yeah, like
Hasn't aged a day in 25 years.
And his mom was on the Jeffersons.
and can he
Sorry.
take though that his ex is now with
What's his name?
The other hottest guy on the
that
entire
everyone
planet?
like can't deal with in their life.
What?
What's his name?
I don't know, the guy from Game of Thrones.
Yeah, Momoa, Jason
yes,
Momoa.
Yes, Zoe's mom. And Zoe Kravitz, these are her fucking parents.
Yes.
It's insane.
Which is nice because she was also on the Cosby, so she's like,
Thanks
that was
a lot.
yeah. I had to deal with that like unpleasant.
Yeah, and that's
ending.
what's so great about what's her face? What is her mom's name?
Lisa Bonet.
Oh, Lucy
Yeah.
Bonet. She was like, Bill Cosby can go fuck himself and go ride his own dick while he's passed out on drugs. And like, okay, we'll put you on a different show. We're gonna give you a spin-off.
Yeah. Also, she hated him.
That's what I'm saying.
And he
of
was
course.
always a dick to her. He's like, you can't come on the show. You're gonna come back on the show. Oh, we're gonna make it that you're like married some weird soldier and have a 6-year-old daughter. Like, remember they just kept bringing her back, but then wouldn't bring her back. But then they realized like she was so pretty and like engaging
Yeah,
that
they gave her her own show because she's like, I'm not gonna have sex with Bill Cosby, who's
Yeah.
raping everyone
Yeah.
in sight. And
Yeah,
I love that
exactly.
about her. Like,
and
she's a
didn't
queen.
she go and have actual sex with Mickey Rourke in the movie
Oh!
Something Angel?
yes, they were like voodoo people.
Yes,
in,
voodoo people.
They were voodoo people
Voodoo
in New
people.
Orleans.
Yes, and she
That was
did it
before-
for real.
That was before Mickey Rourke had biceps in his cheekbones.
Yes, that
Remember?
is before he also shapeshifted his entire body and inserted some sort of
and carries a chihuahua to red carpets.
Yeah.
And cries while he's holding the chihuahua. He cries while he's holding the chihuahua. He's so unstable.
He's unstable. Look at his hands. If you do a close up of his hands, he's got like his fingernails are fully white, which denotes
this is the weird shit Julie
a
does.
problem.
What does that denote? What do you what the
So our my fingernails are like clear.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So sometimes if you look at a person's hands and their fingernails are white,
I don't know if it's like calcified or
Yeah,
what.
and
I don't know what the actual problem is, but I was like obsessed with his hands because they're so bizarre that it was like this
Because
whole
of course
thing.
she zoomed in on the chihuahua. She's like, let me see this chihuahua up close, and then saw his hands.
how much time have we done? Oh my gosh, this is great. Let's just end on Justin Timberlake. I'll save the rest for like another day.
Yeah.
We have so much. Oh, wait, you have to talk about what?
Well, if you wanted to get to 2 episodes, you could go 10 more minutes.
Okay, I'm going to Joe this, and then I'm going to jump to, because you specifically asked to talk about Jessica Simpson. So Joe Simpson, and then we'll just trim up this part. Okay, but I do want to say one thing about the Super Bowl. And people have talked about this forever, and it came up again, being like, is this what ruined Janet Jackson's life? I too remember where I was when this.
We were watching the Super Bowl.
I was watching the Super Bowl. I was at Jillian Barbery's Reynolds' house.
Great one.
Yeah.
Great one.
And
in LA terms, like, that's pinnacle.
and, and for some reason, like, she didn't have TiVo back then, or there was nowhere to like go back. It was just anyway.
It crashed the TiVos. Did you remember that?
So to this day, was it planned that he ripped it off? Did the nipple cover also come, or was the nipple cover like just on the boob? And what do you think? Your opinion. What do you think? I'm going to say what I think. I think that they totally had planned it, and then he left her. And I don't think they ever thought about this actually is a family day and there's kids watching. I just think they thought this is a huge event, and the kids never came into their mind. So when they did it, they thought it would be like received well, and then it became a big clusterfuck, and he left her out to dry. What do you think?
That's 100% for sure what happened. I think her life was probably already. I think ABC or whatever it was on, that was the worst, was the network doing that. Because I think that the network even knew, because I think you do a million rehearsals. They had to have a nipple, a pasty that wasn't going to come off. You know what I mean? The wardrobe, all that stuff was planned, and it was the network that hung her out to dry. But I did watch it with the DVR, with the TiVo, and it literally crashed all the TiVos because everyone rewound it. It crashed the whole system because it was like, whoops. Everyone was like, oh, yeah. I thought it was genius. I was horrified at that whole aftermath because I was like, that is so dumb. I thought it was like genius. personally.
There was a really bad aftermath with her career too that has been recently discovered in all of like the Me Too and the powers that be that blackball and fuck you over, and I had to deal with Les Moonves and whatnot.
Yeah, because they hung. That was the network that did that too. I mean, him too, like Justin Timberlake, like bugs.
Like, take your penis head, get out of here.
Now
But,
the penis is in a leather jacket.
Yeah.
I mean, over a nipple. That's what's so crazy.
But the nipple, what did it show?
Or then just the boob, which is even
I
worse.
think that it did come, and there was a moment of a naked tit, and then she lifted her.
Oh, I thought there was a pasty on
I
it.
can't remember. No, that's her nipple ring. That is her nipple ring right there. Look at that.
Oh my God.
That is the nipple ring.
Oh shit!
I never knew her tit showed.
Janet has a nipple ring. Weird.
I never knew her full boob showed. I thought there was a pasty on it, like
Yeah.
a star or something. Why do I remember like a shape of a star?
I don't know.
Maybe it was the nipple ring.
Maybe
But-
it was.
Yeah.
But just the
Oh,
fact
okay.
that
I
just
see.
the,
That's you can't even do that. That's like
the
they must have
level
gotten
of
fined.
hypocrisy on it, though, is just like, so what her stupid nipple came out. Men can be shirtless all the time with both their tits out and just be nipples,
Right, wait.
nipples. And then one boob comes out. Not even two boobs
Well,
come
that's-
out.
I remember
half a boob comes out.
When what's his name, Maroon 5 guy, he performed shirtless at the Super Bowl, and that's exactly what they were saying. Like, why is this okay? But anyway.
So you think maybe there was a pasty on it that accidentally
got
came
ripped
off?
off.
Yes, and I don't
I
think
see.
the intention. I think the intention was to rip the top, because we all know when you rip something, like it's like a Chippendales guy taking off. It's ready to rip. You can't just like take your fingernails, Justin Timberlake, and actually rip like leather. So I think the plan was that it was ripped off. But in him ripping it, I think he accidentally ripped the pasty off, into which the nipple ring was then. And she may have not even known that the pasty was off. I think she thought she was going to have that pasty, like what's her name had that pasty years ago, the purple pasty, the Nicki Minaj or whatever. It
Yeah.
was. I think it was going to be that, and then she was like, "Oh fuck!" And then he just.
So she wouldn't have gotten in trouble though if the pasty was there.
I think it still would have been controversial, but it wasn't a naked boob.
Wow. Well, this is a juicy scoop to me because I had no idea all these years. I was like, what the?
Then he
fuck?
cheated on Jessica Alba, or he says he just had a nice time on a balcony with
That's
a
fine.
girl
He was
that he was
holding
doing-
someone's hand.
Yeah, and just enjoying water.
I mean,
yeah.
he can just fuck right off.
Yeah, but oh my God, this is so good. We'll just keep going. We'll just save this for Patreon. I can't stop.
Oh God,
This
this was
was
great. This was
Hands
great.
down, one of my favorite,
Agreed.
mind-blowing stories of all time. Arnold Schwarzenegger had a baby with his housekeeper. Holy shit, people. When this broke, let me just tell you. Basically, he had a housekeeper that lived in the house. He had sex with her. I mean, this is now a nanny is bad, but I'm saying a housekeeper, I'm sorry, I think it is worse. This is the woman who's like cleaning toilets. You go into her room, you fuck her. She, is not American born. Same, I guess they said, oh, you have this in common. I don't know. But, so she's not rolling in the dough. She's living in your house in Brentwood and has sex with you. She gets pregnant. Their son is born 5 days before his youngest son is born. So her and Maria are like, and Maria's like, oh my God, I can't believe we're going to have babies together, having no clue.
Did Arnold know?
I mean, no. And then but Arnold said when the kid came around at like 7, he was like, wow, this kid kind
Tell
of
her-
looks like
He
me.
looks like me. I don't know
Tell
why.
her about Tom Arnold. Tell her about Tom
Okay,
Arnold.
so we so Tom Arnold's, you know Tom Arnold?
Of course.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Okay. So he's very good friends with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Right,
And spends
they
a
did those
lot
movies
of
together,
They did
yeah.
the movies together, very good friends. And Arnold Schwarzenegger is very well known for having these huge crazy parties with lots of wild animals, and he's an animal lover, and it's just this whole thing, and he's insane. So Tom
Julie's
Arnold
back in. She uncanceled Arnold because he
he's
lets his
uncanceled.
like tiny little horse eat off of his. He eats with the horse.
obsessed with Arnold Schwarzenegger right now.
Okay, all right. So he has a miniature
Beautiful,
horse.
it's
Yeah.
He has a
beautiful.
miniature horse on his property.
2.
Okay, like Lisa Vanderpump.
Yes.
Okay.
2 of them.
But it comes in and eats
it's
with his plate.
Whiskey.
Comes in the house.
Yes.
Okay.
She
yeah.
eats from the plate. She's so beautiful, like the housekeeper I fuck. I don't know. The child looked like me, but it's not my son. I don't get it. So, Tom Arnold at the party. They're bantering, they're joking around,
Now,
whatever.
Tom told Julie this.
This is, and I don't know, I
Yeah.
mean, so the kid at this point, I don't know how old he is, but he's old enough that he looks like Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Right, yes.
And if you've seen the kid looks exactly
I
like
have
him.
it right. I have it right here.
Oh.
I don't know.
I don't know who he is. He just came off the play. I don't know. I don't know why it looks like me. I don't know.
Also, before I tell you Tom Arnold, it's all very well known that Arnold Schwarzenegger back in the 70s said that, and when he did his documentary Pumping Up,
I love to go to the gym. I work out. It's wonderful. You know what it feel like to pump up? It feel like coming. I come in the gym. I come at home. I come all the time.
he said that. So, comes all the time. So,
Stupid.
Tom
You
Arnold.
clearly said that in the doc.
Yeah, you
Okay,
can
go
look
on.
it up.
All right.
Look it up.
Meanwhile,
I come all the
Julie's seen
time.
the doc, okay?
Okay.
P.S. Let's not gloss over that.
I mean, Commando, Kindergarten Cop. I like Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Go on.
So, I can't even deal with this.
So I don't know. It like look in the mirror when I don't know why. His long hair. I wouldn't do that.
But Tom Arnold then goes to him. This kid comes around in the house.
Yeah.
The kid's whatever, and he
Yeah.
leaves the room. And we're in the middle of the party with all these people around. Tom Arnold goes to him like,
Wow, that kid really looks like you, Arnold.
No way.
and Arnold Schwarzenegger's like,
Shut the fuck up.
He keeps saying it too
shut
over and over.
up.
It's
Way.
like,
He
doesn't
knew at
this
that
kid
point.
look like? Doesn't
Yeah.
he look like
and
Arnold?
then he would go around to everyone at the party in front of him, busting his balls, being like, "Doesn't this kid look like Arnold?" And then
Oh
Arnold
my
would
God.
go, and he would go, "Shut Tom, I'm going to kill you, Tom. I'm going to kill you." And it was just like their whole thing. And then it came out, and Tom Arnold didn't know because the story hadn't broke yet. And within, who knows, was a short amount of time, this whole thing comes out, and now Tom Arnold's like, "Oh my god!" Oh no!
So let me give you some dates here, okay? So her baby, Maria Shriver's baby, was born a week. No, this baby was born a week after Maria's baby, Christopher, and she would bring the son around the housekeeper, and let's see. By the time Maria found out during a couples therapy, Arnold had already known for 5 or 6 years. And then Arnold said that he had known that he'd fathered the child for 5 or 6 years. He called the ordeal the stupidest thing I'd ever done in the whole relationship. And that did the divorce. And it
came out in
it
couples
came out
therapy?
after he was done being governor. So he did this whole governor thing with it. And I just cannot believe, at some point she had a house that was like bought by him, maybe under the table, but it wasn't like a fancy house. She was still going there every day and cleaning the house while I assume her mom or an aunt is watching this baby while she goes and cleans.
I thought the
And
kid
then-
was always there.
No, he wasn't there every day. No way.
Oh, okay.
And then Maria's got her kid, and Maria was so nice that when the woman finally Maria confronted the maid and was like, "Is that baby Arnold?" And the maid fell to her knees and cried, and she said, "Get off your knees," which I thought was such a weird thing to quote, but get off your knees. It's okay. You know, Maria's always been like very Catholic and everything, but also Maria Shriver comes from the Kennedy clan. I think it was her. I can't. Shriver. It's that her mom was like a sibling to JFK and married a Shriver.
Yeah.
Or something. Okay. So.
You know, she always regretted she didn't get that last name.
Yeah. And I also think, like, when you grow up in a family where cheating is the MO, that, you know, JFK cheated, JFK's dad, Joseph, cheated, you know, it's like, I think there was a lot of cheating, a lot of accepting, and I think she knew that he cheated with co-stars or you know, little floozies. But to be so incredibly, like, lazy and just so awful. And you think about this woman who's, like, went along with sex.
The
maybe
power
she
dynamic
wanted,
is just
and that,
it's
it's
so
so
it's
disgusting
beyond
that I'm like, if this
inappropriate.
happened today, and the fact that the woman just was like, okay, what did he do? Maybe give her cash here or there all these years to stay quiet. I mean, and then like, can you imagine if she had ever shared this with someone that would be like, holy fuck, like, I'm going to get you millions of dollars. Like, are you kidding me? While he was governor, can you imagine the blackmailing that she could have done, the amount of money she could have gotten back then?
She needed Gloria Allred's number.
Oh, my God. If Gloria Allred had only known, if Gloria could go back in a time machine.
Oh my God.
It's probably her one regret. She's like,
she's like, I didn't get that money.
But it looks like they seem to get along now, and he works out all the time.
He has a relationship now with the son. Like they like work out. The kids like powerlifting and shit or whatever the hell they do, and they're
probably
probably
his
doing
favorite
roids
kid.
together. Yeah, like
know?
they're complete like they're like best buds.
Because I remember when this kid came, like it came out, and this kid was like, you know, really fit and stuff, and one of the other kids at that time was, I think, going through like a difficult stage and was not fit. I was like, oh my God, to have this all hit.
what a nightmare.
When you're like,
great, the buff new son.
yeah.
Fantastic. I guess I'll start my diet now.
And like, did he get to go to the wedding of Christopher Pratt and
Schwarzenegger.
there's no way. There's no way he was invited. There is no way. I'm sure she's like pleasant, but they're not hanging out. I don't think like she wants to hang out with this kid. I think he hangs out with him on his own.
Right.
I don't think this kid hangs out with any of the half siblings.
He did grow up there, though, like going there, I thought, frequently, because that's how Tom
New.
Like
You
a
know?
Christmas party, or when there's like
Oh,
kids
okay.
around, like a pool party. I think Maria was always like, and you know, they're they're probably like friends, they're the same age. And if you want to bring someone for Christmas, you know, you bring your son, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, and not thinking like,
It's all brothers and sisters having fun.
yeah. Oh
We're
my
all
God.
related, guys.
Okay, wait, I'm going to skip. Oh, you talked about Toddlers and Tiaras, and I just want you guys to see this photo. Please go to my YouTube. So, Toddlers and Tiaras, back in the day, they would give these kids flippers, which, by the way, I've seen these ads on TikTok that now you can literally get like adult flippers, like where they frame your teeth almost like an Invisalign, but they're real teeth, and you just click them in, and you have perfectly white teeth. Perfectly white fake teeth. I don't know what it would be like to talk. I almost want to order it.
Yeah, you should. And then you talk like this. You're like, these are wonderful. I love
But when
these
I'm looking
teeth.
at the photos of these little girls, they look like they're 40-year-old housewives.
Yes.
Like, but they're 6.
Yeah, and remember
They
that?
do it together.
This right. They do. You remember,
I was
this?
always so disturbed that like in the Ramada Inn or whatever, there'd just be a bunch of housewives that are like horribly dressed, like a big oversized,
like the
unsoft T-shirt.
The free shirt you get like
Yeah.
at a baseball game.
and there's no one in the audience, and their daughter is like dressed to the nines. It was just
I can't wait to go up and do my pageant work because
we
I'm
wanted
gonna be
to start.
famous.
We wanted to start our own pageant. It is a money because it's just it's all one
oh yeah,
big
you guys
scam.
have talked about this.
Yeah, it's all fake. You know, you just get the cheap trophies. They cost $1. You order them on the internet. You rent the room at the Ramada,
And then they walk in
and then you just and they're like, okay, especially during
Little
this
Miss
time,
Golden Sunshine.
they were desperate for the pageants, so you
Right.
could do it at that
but
time.
now you can't because now it would be.
We also wanted to go to
inappropriate.
one, not in a
Yeah.
pedophile kind of way, just like
We want to just sit in the back
Yeah.
in sunglasses and be like, yeah, woo. Now that's what I call a pageant.
I wonder, are kid pageants even existing now in
No.
the world
There's
of like?
no way. There's no way. They can't. I mean, how
We
could you
If
miss it.
possibly?
anybody is listening and their kid is currently doing pageants, I'm not here to judge. Or you know about it. I just wonder, is this like a complete dooms
Has to be.
industry?
I think it went to dancing.
For kid
I think
pageants.
it went to
Dance
dancing
moms.
too, because I remember like this whole time also bore. There was the different show. They had different reality shows with it, but it was those guys that like taught pageantry, and they were all gay guys. And they're like,
Yeah.
I teach pageantry to young girls to tell
Yeah.
them how they should act.
like
in
Kim
public."
Possible or Kim.
Right, that lady.
That lady.
And there was the gay guy like David Tueta or something like that.
Honey Boo Boo is what destroyed the whole industry.
Yes.
Because that whole thing that happened with
Right.
Honey Boo Boo came from this.
Yes.
She's like, holla, give me $1. And like, it's not stripping, but cool, do the pageant.
And
mean,
Go
literally.
Go Juice. There was all those secrets started
Yeah.
to come out with in this show too, where you'd see these little kids, they're mostly girls. There were a few boys.
My nephew
And-
was in it. My nephew was in it, and it was great because everyone wanted to be friends with my sister because there was only like 2 boys competing.
Right.
So like then my sister wasn't like competitive with these other girls because she had the
Oh,
boy.
Right.
And my parents would like go to Disneyland and like watch the thing, and he was like in a tuxedo at like 18 months. And my sister had it a complete. Her entire kitchen was all the trophies, and nobody thought about how fucking weird that was.
Are you like, what's wrong?
Like,
with
I
my
remember
family?
we were at the Fallbrook Mall when we were approached. Okay, we were at the Fallbrook Mall when we were approached with my nephew, and my sister just. I mean, from then then the kids got into normal acting and stuff. But
What the baby
pageant
was just
thing,
so beautiful. She believed this. I mean,
Yes.
listen, these new moms, it comes out of your vagina, and if somebody's like, "This is a star," and you're like, "This little thing."
Yeah.
This little thing that looks like every other little thing, but it's
Yeah.
like, yes, my star.
I just knew that my baby was so beautiful the minute it came out.
I just remember we had
And
this.
I said to it, I said, you're going to be a star. And so I put it in a full gown, and we put some teeth in it. And she didn't even have no teeth then. We didn't even know what sex it was. And then I said, we don't know what that is yet. So then we put the flipper on in a full wig. And I rolled it actually onto the stage. I rolled it because he didn't walk or do nothing. So we rolled it onto the stage. And you know what? We got 10s.
I just remember
Best
like,
in show or
they'd be
whatever.
like
Best
at the
in show.
day. They'd be like at the Days Inn. And the little girls just like wanted to go in the indoor disgusting pool. So they literally would have like their hair in rollers, like in like a bathing cap. And they couldn't get their hair wet because they had to like.
And then you see the mom giving them pixie sticks of what is that? You know, that sugar pixie sticks, go-go juice, Red Bull, Mountain Dew, and to these little kids.
Oh my God, my nephew had like a cowboy outfit. Like we were all like, oh my God, but it was just like I don't know, they like loved it. They were
How
so
late did he do it? To like 2?
like 4.
Oh my God, that's
4.
great.
And then
that's amazing.
You know, and all these like headshots and everything. And then God, it was
Justin Timberlake did it. It's full
did?
circle.
yeah.
Justin fucking Timberlake
Did
did
pageants?
pageants, and he was on Star Search.
Oh, that's right. He was on Star Search.
But he did pageants.
Wow.
But they were too young to like do a talent. Like he wasn't dancing or anything.
Right.
But I remember like he was so little, my sister had to like bring him out and show him off like in his tuxedo, and we had like this VHS tape, and then like to the music. He just fucking started whacking my sister, you know, how, like a toddler, and it's like boom, 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 boom. She's like, you know, and then you'd always get like first or second because there was only one other boy doing it. So like literally, they just were like, okay, we'll split the difference, whatever. And then, you know, but you had to pay $500 to enter. You had to do. You had
Was
to do,
he super cute?
Yes, he was. He was
Yeah.
adorable. But like, I mean, it's so weird, you know,
Yeah.
and
Oh God, it's so
amazing,
weird. It's so
amazing.
Weird. So weird.
The pageants all. I mean,
Wait,
they go into
I'm going to
trophies.
just go to one that you really want to talk about. Okay. Joe Simpson. I picked out this photo of this outfit because I've told the story before, but I went to a private house party where he was launching his clothing line.
Oh God, you've done it all. Why?
Why can't we be there?
From Jillian Barbary
Oh my
to
God.
I mean,
Like, hi Joe, how are you?
Everything.
I mean,
everything.
My friend, I haven't kept in touch with her, but she was a cool girl and she was a publicist. And she was like, do you and Peter want to go to this beautiful house in Malibu on Saturday night or whatever? Joe Simpson is launching a clothing line.
I
And
hope this is his clothing line in this photo.
It is.
Yeah.
Oh,
It is.
is it
my.
called Skyscrapers?
It was.
Skyscrapers by Joe Simpson. I'm straight.
They look like
And,
dicks. That's
and
why
my
I like
friend would be like, Joe, you know, she goes, Joe keeps wanting to date me. And I'm like, isn't he gay? And she's like,
okay.
no, that's just it. And I'm like, She goes, well, anyway, he hired me to be his publicist for his clothing line. So she's like, come. And then it was a house full of young twinks. I think Peter was the only normal sized straight person there. And
It was like going to Willy Wonka and the Twink Factory. I mean, basically, they're like, Oompa Loompa, we love Jack, but we're straight. Like, I can't. I just can't.
And I remember I started to
can't
talk
take
to
it.
him. I started to
Can't
talk
take
to him about, because I was like, you know, I really love that show that Jessica did, again, a short-lived show, where it was a fashion competition, but you actually had real buyers there. So it was like Saks Fifth Avenue, Macy's, and like Kohl's. And then they'd go, I want that dress at Kohl's. And I said, I think that's so interesting because it's really like what's going to sell and what could be in multiple sizes, like where, you know. And he was like, let me tell you about that. He was doing this thing with his
Oh, he's
mouth.
like all cracked out?
I don't know what it was, but between like the Southern accent and just like this like cow chewing thing that he was doing. He's like, no, that was my idea. And I told Jessica. And I was like, oh, okay. And then,
Oh my God.
and so,
God.
He's like all fucking tweaking out.
and
He
so,
was like, crystal
and
meth
so we're going to the
on.
party, and then Ashley Simpson showed up with Diana Ross's son, Tracy Ellis
Evan
Ross's
Ross.
brother.
Oh God, I
Evan.
need to know how the nose job
And
looks
they
in real
came
life,
at the
Heather.
very last minute, and they took the photo. And my friend, the publicist, was like, "Thank God she's here, but I'm so pissed Jessica didn't come." Like, they just like she's like, they're not good to their dad. Like, why are they not here? Like, he's launching a clothing line. Let me just tell you what this clothing line looks. Besides that, it was just all these long shirts for men. So it was like a black like Oxford shirt, and then the bottom would be white, and then you'd wear
Why?
like black pants with it. And
Was Peter like, yo, let me get some of these
Oh,
shirts?
we got a bunch of it. Then we got a bunch in the to-go bag or whatever the gift bag. And we're like, here's some really cool stuff, Drake. And my son's like, what the fuck is this? And we're
Try
like,
to pass it off on Drake.
I mean-
Drake, here you go. Got your school clothes. He's like, get the fuck out of here.
oh my God, I thought I took a photo with it. Maybe I didn't. I looked and looked, but this is one that I found.
This is the city, and these are their brambles. This is where we go to suck dicks behind bushes. But we do it underneath. It's a two-tone thing. Or actually, he has a Southern accent. He has a
He's
Southern
Southern.
accent.
He was a
A
Baptist,
Southern
a
Baptist
preacher.
minister.
Now I need to know though, how is Ashley's face and nose in real life? That is that
beautiful.
is the best fucking nose job. How
She
pretty
was
does
totally
she look?
Pretty. I mean, I think the two of them are like a very attractive couple. They tried to have a reality show for a minute.
No, we don't need it.
Nope.
Yeah,
we
and
need
I
the
just
old
remember
one.
it was like
We
on
need the old
E
one.
where it's like, I'm coming back. There's so many people that are like, what do I do now? And well, now everybody just goes, you know what you should do? You should have a podcast.
Podcast.
But 5 years ago, they're like, you know what? It's about you coming back into the workforce, juggling motherhood. And your new album. That was like every sad storyline. But now we see you as a mom. Oh my God, you guys, this is so hard because I have a red carpet tonight. My baby is teething. I was like so boring, those shows.
So boring. They tried to do like some songs and stuff together too.
Tell Heather about
Yeah.
the wedding. The wedding of
So
Jessica
in
Simpson
my
and the
deep,
guy.
deep research of Joe Simpson, so
Because there's nothing better than the
I-
religious oppression of the Baptist,
yes,
you know.
which is why I won't stop. So just I don't care if somebody. Obviously, we're not trying to out anyone or whatever. But when you're a Southern Baptist minister, you grow your kids up in a very religious household. You oppress them sexually. You oppress them with all your rules. Meanwhile, you're in the closet sucking dicks, and right, like you're the problem. So
Right?
you're a hypocrite.
Because remember how she had to be the virgin and all that shit, and then she married Nick Lachey, and it's like, did you guys do it? That it's like she had to wait to like, it's just come on.
And,
Right.
which is why.
Yeah, I
Joe
mean, I
meant-
read that part of the book. Yeah, her book.
Right.
Yeah.
So he's married to his wife for 34 years or something. And he then.
Tina.
They get this divorce. And within the 2 years, I guess, of them getting a divorce, Jessica Simpson gets married. She gets married to the guy that she's with now. So 2 days before her wedding, he calls her. And he's like, hey, Jessica. It's
Hi,
Dad.
Daddy.
It's Dad. Your father. I'm a man.
Hi, Dad.
Hi, I want to let you know. Let me just chomp on this crystal meth for a second. I just want to let you know that I'm coming to the wedding, and I'm bringing my friend Jonathan. He's a model, but he's just a friend who I photograph.
Well, you know, I know that you know a lot of models, male models, because of your flourishing male.
That's because I'm a
clothing line.
photographer.
Right.
Because I'm a photographer. That's my job. I have to see these young men all the time.
And if they're going to be right for my long shirt line.
That's right. And I wear these long shirts so that I like it when my dick is behind a curtain like it's a theater. You know what I mean? So then I uncover the theater and then I'm like, what's the show? And I'm like, it's my dick. So then I just wanted to let you know that. He called her 2 days before the wedding and told her in no uncertain terms that he's coming to her wedding and he's bringing a young model.
Okay.
Who's probably at the party.
Who's a man. Who was probably at the party. And then he went on to be photographed or whatever, and she was horrified.
Right.
Jessica was horrified, and
And
she
probably horrified for her mom, too.
horrified for the mom. She was pissed at the dad.
What? Oh.
Oh, let's see.
Oh.
Oh, the wedding?
Yeah.
Oh.
We have a photo.
There he is.
That just looks like a photographer and his model for sure.
We're just friends. He's my client. He's my client. You know what I mean? Just gonna wipe that off. Here. So now I just have
There's
to,
Joe. He has his cud chewing, crystal meth tweaking on lockdown there.
Let me just
For the.
I mean, it's getting a little red. Let me just get that going. So it's just like,
So do they have a relationship now though? Do we know?
he has a relationship with a new. the
No,
thing
I
is-
mean Jessica.
Oh yeah, I
Oh
think.
yeah.
I think.
So because he
Yeah.
got cancer in 2016, so then the girls came around and they sort of rallied around him and they had this sort of reckoning. But he to this day has not officially come out.
Right, and in the book, when she struggled with her alcohol issues, and then she said there was this moment where she brought him, and maybe this was, I don't know where this was, but she brought him in to listen to her new music, and it was kind of a hard moment because he was always part of her journey of creating music, and this was the first time that she was doing music without him being the manager and everything. But in the book, she said that he was, quite gracious about it.
Right. Well, apparently
So-
he was very grateful particularly after the cancer, that they didn't disown him, basically. Cause,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because the divorce was really hard with the mom, and he demanded half the money. The mom got cutthroat, and the mom wanted to be like, I'm going to give you an amount of money, and you're going to take it. And he's like, no, I think I'd like half. Because
Because they made all the money on the clothing line,
Right.
Not his,
Right.
but hers. Jessica
apparently
Simpson.
the mom
But in the
was-
book, she has some resentment, kind of like what we're seeing with Brittany, like revealing, of how much she was making and how everyone had a hand in it, and everybody
I'm
kind of had a
sure, yeah.
job,
She
and it was
also-
like,
yeah. And she was
Yeah.
abused. Comes out that she's abused, and then she had to tell the parents, and then they're horrified, and it was someone they knew, and
We listened to the book on tape, which we highly recommend because it is
Yeah.
her voice.
yeah.
yeah, oh, that was good.
I mean,
Yeah.
he created an environment of, oppression and lies, and everybody suffered. But
Yeah.
they're doing all right. They're rich.
They are so rich. Wow. That line, that really, really, I mean, that's the textbook for every artist now, every actor and every musician. It's like, get
I
that
could
clothing line money.
literally- Why are his nails long? I mean, I could get into this so hard. So hard. He kind of looks like Mike Douglas.
Yes,
or
he kinda
Kirk Douglas or
does.
whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like a little bit. Also,
I mean,
like,
Julie's gonna
just-
please.
Is
I
this
don't wanna-
velour? Is this? I don't know. Is this
But
a?
I will say,
a
with
hair?
all that being said, her spirituality of being raised as a Christian in that book, that never left her.
Oh, she's very- she's
whatever
super
whatever
kind
he
and-
Yes.
instilled from the Bible, and whether he wavered from it or stopped being a preacher, whatever, it that all had her saving grace. That was the thing that kept her being hopeful and having faith. And
Yeah.
so I think that's another reason why she's yeah, there was some fucked up turns along the way, but I'm still really grateful for it.
Of course. Well, she-
For the foundation that I
Right,
had.
right.
Yeah.
well, even all
right.
the work for her career. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
she did a ton for them.
Yeah. It was a great
I think
book.
it's probably mainly just personal, where it's
I think
way
so,
to
too.
go, guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, way to go.
Yeah.
Right.
Don't cheat on mom with 100 guys and then
But I
it's
think
just-
And
also-
don't call something a sin
Yeah.
that you're doing, and that you actually are, and you're making people feel that they're sinful and are going to hell and aren't worthy of being alive. But that's you.
Right.
That's you.
And I think now that she's is kind of well, let him be happy too.
I think she is
yeah.
too.
he was under that, living a
I think she is too. Oh.
oh my gosh, the Dan we have
know,
to
we
wrap
have
it
to.
up. We have to wrap it. I gotta have some water. It's so hot in
I
here.
know. Why did we get hot?
Who is
Because
that?
because the air, it's whatever. We're in the Calabasas. That's that Dan Balzerian that I'm obsessed with. I wonder if he's still having these girls on his yacht during the COVID times.
He looks familiar.
We went. and
He's
looked
one of those
that
guys
up.
that's just everywhere.
Yeah.
He's just he has a big pot company.
Remember when we
But
looked
he's
it up
also
online?
he's also
Yeah,
a
he was
Navy
familiar.
SEAL, but the Navy SEALs say he's not really a Navy SEAL.
No,
And
I'm
then-
gonna say no too.
And then he also comes from a lot of money and has created a lot of money. And part of it is that he does these incredible Instagram videos of just the best looking girls you've ever seen in your life, diving off yachts with him. And they're all
He's 3
just,
feet tall,
Gross.
and he definitely wasn't a Navy SEAL.
I mean,
hilarious. Brandy and Julie, we're gonna do. So what I'm gonna do is we'll have a show for tomorrow. We'll have more on Thursday. We'll have some probably on Patreon. Probably the Joe Simpson will be on Patreon because
Okay.
I'm just like thinking that's probably the.
Well, you
Whatever.
can cut that if you want. If you feel.
I don't want to cut. I'll just put it on Patreon.
Oh, okay. Anything
but
you
there's
feel
nothing
dicey
that we
about.
said like I don't know, or maybe even the Schwarzenegger stuff. Maybe Schwarzenegger and Joe. We'll figure it out. Kelly and I will figure it out. But
Kelly
let me
knows
just,
what's going to get people like mad.
No, there's nothing that it's I think gonna get. But I always go back and I listen, and sometimes there might be like a sentence or two that I'll remove just because I don't. But anyway, I want to just do like a good ending, and then we'll like do the same ending for all of this, so that people know where to find you. So Brandy and Julie, your life has changed since being on Juicy Scoop.
It's true.
It
People-
wasn't our first time, Heather.
I know it wasn't, but this last time it was like people were losing their minds. People made Chris Frangiola very jealous. He did not like hearing that. Chris, thank God, will be here next week.
He
on
doesn't have
Tuesday.
anything to be threatened by. He's hilarious
Yeah.
and beloved, and we would never. We're beneath him.
I have
in
to
every way.
You know how you have certain children. It's like he's the sensitive one. We have to
Yeah.
make sure he's okay.
Well, just tell him everyone in your Facebook group hates us,
Oh, no,
and then he'll feel better.
so for people that want to get more of you, tell them.
We have a podcast called Dumb Gay Politics. That's a free podcast anywhere you get your podcast. We also have a Patreon podcast where we have no content and we just talk about weird stuff like Julie's IBS and like just the most random, but it's
Yeah.
not political.
No, we
You know
do.
what I mean?
We
Yeah.
talk about every single thing under the sun except politics. And Dumb Gay Politics is a political podcast, but don't be afraid. Try it out. If you don't like politics, we could potentially be the podcast that you may enjoy just for that reason.
It's a podcast for people who watch Bravo and don't watch the news.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Well, I thoroughly enjoy you, and
We thoroughly
you.
enjoy you. We loved
Yeah.
your special.
Yeah.
Thank
and
you.
And everyone needs to watch that.
yeah, absolutely. Before you watch Gia and
And before you watch any other comedy
and
special.
Poison Ivy.
And Poison Ivy. That's right. God, we have so much to do this week.
today.
Thank you, girls. I love you.
Thank you.
Love you.
Bye.